story of Sleeping Beauty. I know, she has a beautiful long blonde hair.
I like her dress. It kind of looks like Rapunzel.
It does kind of look like Rapunzel. It says, long ago there lived a king and a queen. Hey, just like in our skit, in our play, who had a beautiful baby girl. And the king was very happy. He held a big feast and invited friends, family, and the fairies. There were 13 fairies in his kingdom. All but the 13th fairy were invited because she was mean and hurtful. So they did not invite the last fairy because she was mean. London hand. Okay. Yeah. So they didn't invite her. So how's she going to feel now? And is that the fairy you want to make mad? No. After an amazing feast, each of the fairies gave a magical gift, including kindness and beauty. The princess had everything she could wish for. So they all granted her wish. Who do you think is going to show up? The mean fairy. After the 11th fairy presented her gift, the 13th fairy suddenly appeared. Angrily, she called out, when she is 15 years old, the princess shall prick herself on a spinning wheel and fall down dead. That is not nice. So now that fairy cursed her and said, when you're 15, you're going to prick your finger and she will die. But there's still one fairy left. The queen fell to the floor sobbing. But the 12th fairy, whose wish was still unspoken, she didn't say it yet, quietly stepped forward. My magic cannot break the curse, she said, but your daughter shall not die. Instead, she will fall into a deep sleep lasting 100 years. So now their daughter won't die when she pricks her finger, Mason. She'll just fall asleep. That's why the name of the story is Sleeping Beauty. Over the years, the fairies' promises came true one by one. The princess grew to be beautiful, kind, and wise. Wise means you're smart. The king and queen ordered that every single spinning wheel across the kingdom to be destroyed. The princess was never told of the curse, so they had all the spinning wheels burned up. Because if the spinning wheels are burned, she can't prick herself on it, right? So they got rid of all of them so that they are trying to keep their daughter safe. But watch. You're right, sweetheart. On the morning of her 15th birthday, the princess woke up early, very excited. She wandered through the halls and gardens, waiting for the rest of the castle to wake up. She came to an old tower that she had never seen before. The princess climbed the winding staircase and opened a little door. What do you think she finds inside? The spinning wheel. Uh-oh is right. You use it to make yarn and to make string. In a small room sat an old woman with a spinning wheel, busily spinning. What are you doing? Asked the princess. I'm spinning, said the old woman. Would you like to try? The princess had hardly begun when she pricked her finger, and at that moment she fell into a deep sleep. Who is this? The mean fairy that in a disguise that is not actually a little old woman.
The old lady must think she died. She actually does.
The king, queen, and servants had all started on their morning routines when they all suddenly fell asleep too. The horses fell asleep in the stable. The birds fell asleep on the roof, and the dogs snored in the yard. So not only did the princess, is she going to sleep for 100 years, everybody else is going to sleep for 100 years. Yes, Nazir. I know, sweetie. Can you go open it again? Can you just walk behind, sweetheart? And just open it a little bit? Thank you, honey. All right. Thank you, honey. Around the castle grew a thick wall of rose bushes until nothing could be seen of the castle. They couldn't see the castle at all because the rose bushes grew up. So when you were walking, you couldn't even see the castle. Didn't know it was there. The legend of Sleeping Beauty, as the king's daughter was called, spread across the land. Many princes tried to reach the castle, but the thorns would not let them through. So here comes a prince. He's going to go try to save them. But the thorns of the rose bush were too thick. They couldn't get through them. Thank you, Nazir. "100 years passed, and a handsome young prince heard the tale of Sleeping Beauty. He traveled to the castle and walked right through the rose bushes unharmed, because now 100 years had passed. So now the roses are starting to shrivel up. These are all starting to go away. When he went into the castle, the flies were asleep on the walls, and the servants were asleep in the halls. And near the throne lay the king and the queen, sleeping peacefully beside each other. So he found the castle, and everyone is asleep. At last, the prince reached the tower where the princess slept. And as soon as he saw her, the prince fell in love, and he bent down to kiss her. And when he did, Sleeping Beauty, the sleeping curse was lifted, and the castle slowly came to life. Later that year, the prince and Sleeping Beauty were married, and they lived happily for the rest of their lives. Now this is different than in the movie, because in the movie, that evil fairy, she's actually a witch, and she can turn herself into a dragon, and then he has to fight the dragon.
The witch is
Maleficent, yeah. But the stories are all, since the stories of the princesses, like I told you with Cinderella, aren't true. Every story is a little bit different. Yeah. I don't know if I have this movie at home. I could bring it. I'll go home and check, and I can see if I can put it on our little computer, on our TV. It's not on Netflix. I know that. My loves. Oh, it is on Disney Plus. You're right. I do have that. I'm going to have to ask Mr. Barch to get it on my Apple TV so we can watch it on the big screen instead of my little TV. Smart. You guys are so smart asking me about Disney Plus. Oh, perfect. Lunch is right on time. Mitchell, will see you in an hour for math, sweetheart. Bye, honey. All right. If you're